Okay, folks. Yeah, I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time talking about this whole thing going on over there in another country. I just wanted to point out a few things that are kind of curious if we're following the narrative, right? We're to understand that this guy here, Mr. Blinken, Mr. Guitar Minister, right? Y'all know about his whole global music initiative to create diplomacy through music, right? If you haven't seen the videos of him playing guitar, it's pretty funny. I'll put a link in the comments if I can come across it again. But yeah, feel free to quit your day job there, Mr. Anthony Blinken, because you're a pretty shitty Secretary of State. You're just really an actor and a character, really, folks. That's all this guy is. He's just an entertainer. He's already proven that time and time again. So feel free to quit your day job and go play your guitar over in, some dive bar in another country because you seem to be pretty popular amongst all of the leaders of other countries. They've given him guitars and shit. It's pretty incredible. Um, just this guy's a tool. He's a character. He's another actor. And if we're to follow the narrative, they approved, this release of all of these assets to these people and a prisoner swap even. And then just a couple of days later, next thing you know, we got this conflict and things going on where a powerful explosion killed 5 Palestinians in Gaza, and Israel says the blast was caused by a mishandled bomb. And this was just days after they released all of this funding. So we're to follow the narrative, then we're kind of funding both sides because this wall here, this is like one of the most secure border walls over there in Israel, okay? And I mean, and by most secure, I mean the security forces that guard this wall are like authorized to use deadly force, okay? And they have been using deadly force to protect this border. And it's just if you pair that with the narrative here in our country where our border is just wide open, there are so many things and so many sides to all of these issues. And one more thing, too, folks, I don't want a border wall that's as secure as this border wall here over in Israel. I don't want to have a border wall where the security forces are authorized to use lethal force because here's the thing about these walls, folks. These walls hold people into like a prison. They don't just keep people out, they hold people in.
And one more thing too concerning this whole border wall thing. Keep in mind, dating back to like the '90s when they really started pushing this whole thing with biometrics. First, it started out with them wanting our fingerprints and stuff, and now it's turned to like iris scanning and full body scanning and all that. Um, yeah, they're going to be integrating a lot more things into this whole border wall thing. And when we're talking about biotechnologies, with this emerging military technologies congressional research from November 1st of last year, where they're talking about using biotechnologies. Um, they're going to start integrating that kind of stuff into that border wall too, and it's really interesting. I mean, I'll read this here really quick too. Talking about biotechnology. It says here, biotechnology leverages life sciences for technological applications. A number of developments in biotechnology hold potential implications for the U.S. military and for international security writ large. As the 2018 Government Accountability Office report notes, the Department of Defense, State and Homeland Security, and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence assess that biotechnologies such as the low-cost gene editing tool CRISPR have the potential to, let me zoom in on this real quick here, alter genes or create DNA to modify plants, animals, and humans. Such biotechnologies could be used to enhance or degrade the performance of military personnel, or degrade the immune systems of civilians at ground level, right? Just saying, the proliferation of synthetic biology used to create genetic code that does not exist in nature may increase the number of actors that can create chemical and biological weapons. You don't say. Similarly, the U.S. intelligence community's 2016 Worldwide Threat Assessment cited genome editing as a potential weapon of mass destruction. In addition, biotechnology could be used to create adaptive camouflage, cloaking devices, or lighter, stronger, and potentially self-healing body and vehicle armor. Concerns have been raised that U.S. competitors may not hold the same ethical standards in the research and application of biotechnologies. Oh yeah, because the U.S. has such high ethical standards, right, in research and application of biotechnologies. Sure, particularly regarding biological weapons, genome editing, or more invasive forms of human performance modification. Yeah, Unclassified U.S. biotechnology programs with military applications center primarily on improving readiness, resilience, and recovery. And now listen to this, folks. In addition, DARPA's Safe Genes program seeks to protect service members from accidental or intentional misuse of genome editing technologies. I believe that would be along the lines of targeted warfare. In addition, some reports suggest that the United States is researching or has previously researched biotechnology and neuroscience applications to increase soldier lethality, including applications to make soldiers stronger, smarter, and more capable, and give them more endurance than other humans. Some groups have expressed ethical concerns about this research. Although the United States had a series of presidential bioethics commissions between 1974 and 2017, there is no current national framework for examining the ethical concerns. Yeah, right. At least that's not unclassified, right? Finally, DoD is exploring advanced development and operational testing of biomanufacturing capabilities to provide alternative sources for critical supply chain materials and other products needed for non-medical supply chain resiliency. DoD requested 1.3 billion with a B for biotechnology efforts in fiscal year 2023. This whole thing about the soldiers making super soldiers and making them stronger and smarter and give them more endurance than other humans, genetically modifying people. And, I'm, once again, I don't consent. And when it comes to this whole biotechnology, it wouldn't surprise me if they weren't going to be integrating it into any new security wall plans. And, while I want to have a secure border, I absolutely do. I also recognize and realize now that it can hold people in too. So just remember that, folks. It can hold people in too. They're not hiding what they're doing now with some certain activities and different things going on. And it wouldn't surprise me if they weren't planning on deploying some of these, crowd control weapons with all this stuff going on. Because they know they're triggering people. You know damn well they're triggering people. And I don't think I want to have lasers down at the border either. We look at this article here, in particular from BBC News. How did Israeli intelligence fail to stop major attack from Gaza? Well, because, it was in part of the plan. It's in the script. And they were quoted to say, we have no idea how this could have happened. Yeah, that is the reaction Israeli officials have been giving today when I asked them how, with all its vast resources, Israeli intelligence did not see this attack coming. Especially when they've been literally saying they were going to do it for a very long time. It's been out there, okay? But it says here that Israeli officials tell me that a major investigation has begun and questions. They say that will go on for years. Of course it will, because it's very profitable. There are so many people getting off on this whole situation and this conflict, and it's sad. And it's really interesting that when we look at the protests and stuff that are going on, this one here in New York, they're pretty much chanting the same thing too, and all of these protests going on in all of the cities. And it's sad to me to see all of these people gathering and protest of this in our own country. It's almost as if they are having their own little civil war and their own little battle right here in our country at a time when we are, trying to still have our voices heard with these freedom rallies and stuff going on. At a time when there's so much being exposed about the current administration and their family, if we're following the narrative. I mean, with the information as it's being released to the public, we follow the narrative. All of this is just really very curious as to how fast they were able to mobilize and organize these protests on this stuff. This is absolutely choreographed chaos, folks. And they keep needing these bigger distractions. They need people distracted even more as more and more information is being exposed about what's really been going on right here in our own country. And now you have this whole thing going on from another country. We have two factions from another country having a civil war and airing out their grievances and their unrest in our city streets at a time when we still are trying to gather and protest what our own government, what our own American government has been doing to us for the last few years, as far as our rights and our freedoms go. Right? If we're following the narrative, they know how to create a distraction. Let me tell you, folks, and this is really shameful how they are exploiting people and exploiting the media. They're only being allowed to share. We'll say that because they're just actors as well. All these people are. This guy is just nothing but an entertainer and an actor. And this whole thing and this narrative is
it's just yet another really big distraction. Because, like I said, $6 billion buys a lot of distraction for a long time.
And a lot of people are seeing this stuff going on right now as biblical. There's some interesting things playing out that would be, that would suggest there's some biblical prophecy thing going on, and Biden is pretty evil. Just saying. That's my opinion anyway. Yeah, I'll leave you with this. What a joke. What an absolute joke.